Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
From makeshift studios in the shadow of South Central Virginia, this is the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I am your host, Joey Harris. Follow the show on Twitter at Cup of Joe Pod. Email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. And folks, have you ever just wanted to go on a mental vacation? I realized that I needed to do just that when someone today thought they were entitled to my time. And no one is entitled to your time, folks. Your time is yours to give freely as you want to give, but no one's entitled to it. Now, you may have people that you love that you would freely give your time to, and that's perfectly fine, but no one's entitled to your time. So next time someone thinks they are, just take a mental vacation and withdraw. Today, Project 45 goes back to 2008 as we look at the final Saturday night's main event on NBC from August the 2nd, 2008. The show aired on NBC on August the 2nd, 2008. It was recorded July 28, 2008 from the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. There were 14,722 in attendance, and the show did a 1.4 rating on NBC. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are our announcers for the evening. They welcome CM Punk, the current World Heavyweight Champion, to the desk to commentate on the first match with them. 8-man tag team match. JBL, Kane, and The Legacy, Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. versus John Cena, Batista, and Crime Time, Shad Gaspard and JTG. Kane and Batista start the match. Kane with a corner whip and a clothesline. Batista reverses another corner whip and hits a clothesline of his own. He then drives his shoulder into Kane several times. He then follows that up with a snapmare. He follows that up with a big boot and a cover. Kane comes back with the right hand and Rhodes tagged in. Rhodes with some right hands. Batista reverses an Irish whip, but drops his head and Rhodes kicks him in the face. Rhodes rushes Batista, who picks Rhodes up and drives him into the corner. JTG tagged in. JTG with some forearms. Rhodes reverses an Irish whip. JTG comes back with a shot to Rhodes' face. JTG forces Rhodes back to the corner, and Gaspard tagged in. Gaspard then catapults JTG into Rhodes. Gaspard then military presses Rhodes. That gets a 2 count. Rhodes rushes Gaspard, who catches Rhodes and puts him on his shoulder and does snake eyes on Rhodes. DiBiase distracts referee Mike Chioda so JBL can attack Gaspard from the apron and Kane tagged in. Kane hits a big clothesline on Gaspard. When they come back from the commercial break, JBL has tagged in and is stomping Gaspard, who is down on the mat. JBL throws Gaspard to the outside where he is attacked by Kane. Kane drops Gaspard on the barricade. JBL throws Gaspard back in while the faces complain about the cheating to Chioda. JBL covers Gaspard with his feet on the ropes, but only gets a 2 count. DiBiase tagged in and JBL holds Gaspard for DiBiase to punch and kick. Chioda finally gets JBL out and DiBiase hits a nice suplex on Gaspard. DiBiase goes Batista in and hits a fist drop on Gaspard as Chioda was trying to get Batista out. DiBiase then hits a clothesline on Gaspard. He gets a 2 count. DiBiase then gets a camel clutch on Gaspard. Gaspard powers out, so DiBiase transitions to a side headlock. Gaspard powers out with punches, so DiBiase responds with a knee to the stomach. DiBiase drives Gaspard headfirst into the corner turnbuckle and beats him down. Referee Mike Chioda admonishes DiBiase, allowing Kane to attack Gaspard from the apron. Rhodes tagged in. He punches and kicks Gaspard down. Gaspard trying to fight back with some wild punches, but he seems to be out on his feet. Rhodes runs Gaspard into a turnbuckle. Rhodes rushes Gaspard, who gets his boot up at the last second. Gaspard trying to get to his own corner to make a tag, but gets cut off by a drop kick from Rhodes. Rhodes pulls Gaspard across the ring and gets a leg lock on Gaspard. Rhodes then tags JBL in and keeps the leg lock on so JBL can stomp Gaspard. JBL drops some elbows on Gaspard. He only gets a 2 count. JBL with a big forearm to the back. Kane tagged in and kicks Gaspard. He then snapmares Gaspard and hits him with a running kick to the head while Gaspard is in the seated position. He only gets a 2 count. Kane then gets a leg scissors on Gaspard while John Cena and the rest of his team try to encourage Gaspard to just hold on. DiBiase tagged in and stomps Gaspard. Gaspard reverses a suplex attempt. A double count going. Cena and JBL both tagged in. Cena hits a couple of shoulder tackles to JBL. Cena ducks a clothesline attempt and slams JBL. You can't see me. 5-knuckle shuffle. He goes for the FU, but Kane comes in and kicks Cena in the stomach. Batista comes in and takes out Kane and Rhodes and DiBiase when they come in. Batista then clotheslines Kane to the outside. JTG tagged in and goes up top, and Cena helps him hit a rocket launcher on DiBiase. JBL comes in and hits JTG with a clothesline from hell and pins JTG. The crowd boos JBL heavily. JBL comes over and points to CM Punk at ringside. The Great Khali is shown walking in the back. Jeff Foxworthy and Carmen Electra talk about autism awareness. The Great Khali with Rajin Singh versus Jimmy Wang Yang. They show a video package on the Great Khali. Yang attacks Khali with punches and kicks. Khali pushes Yang off and then clotheslines him. Khali then power slams Yang. He then throws Yang into the corner. Yang comes back with a kick and gets on the second rope and comes off, and Khali just swats him out of the air. Khali hits a big choke slam and pins Yang with one foot on his chest. More Generation Rescue talk as Jenny McCarthy is introduced and talks about Generation Rescue. Feature on all that has happened between Vicky Guerrero and Edge. They recycled that Together song from SummerSlam 1991. They show Vicky booking Edge versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match at SummerSlam. They then preview matches scheduled for SummerSlam. Highlights of Edge taking out Mick Foley on SmackDown. This was to write Foley off of the show as he was tired of Vince McMahon screaming in his ear as he was trying to do commentary. And I, for one, do not blame Foley at all. Foley would come back and rib McMahon in 2012 when he returned to the WWE about someone screaming in his ear on commentary. Edge versus Jeff Hardy. The bell rings. They lock up and drive to a corner. They break clean. Edge goes for a shot in the corner. Hardy ducks it and arm drags Edge out of the corner. They circle each other as the Hardy chant goes out. They lock up again and Edge with a wrist lock. Hardy reverses the hold. Hardy with a knee to the stomach and a shot to Edge. Edge returns the favor with a shot of his own and a corner whip. Hardy jumps up to avoid the charge and arm drags Edge out of the corner. Hardy gets Edge down and gets an armbar on. Edge gets to his feet again and pushes off, and Hardy slides out of the ring. Edge comes out after Hardy, and when he does, Hardy gets back in the ring and kicks Edge through the ropes. Hardy then hits a crossbody over the top rope onto Edge. Hardy gets back in the ring as the Hardy chant goes out again. Hardy rolls out again and comes over and kicks Edge in the stomach. He then Irish whips Edge into the barricade. Hardy then runs to Swanton Edge off the ring steps, but Edge moves and Hardy hits the barricade instead. Edge gets back in the ring, and referee Jimmy Corderas goes out to check on Hardy. When they come back from commercial break, Edge has Hardy down on the mat in the ring. He is targeting Hardy's legs. He gets a leg lock on Hardy. Hardy fighting not to pass out and not to have his shoulders go down to the mat for a 3 count. A Hardy chant goes out again. Edge cranking on the hold and punches the leg of Hardy. Hardy fights and finally gets to the ropes. Both men back to their feet and Hardy kicking Edge in the midsection. Hardy looks like he was going for the enziguri, but Edge pushes him away. Corderas checking on Hardy as Edge gloats to the crowd. Hardy up, but favoring one leg heavily. Edge with the forearm to knock Hardy back to the mat. Edge drags Hardy over to the corner and drives his leg into the ring post. Corderas gets Edge in the opposite corner so that he can check on Hardy. Hardy trying to get back up and holding on to the ropes to help himself. Edge comes over and kicks Hardy in the leg. Edge goes for an Irish whip and Hardy reverses it into a clothesline. Both men down and a double count going. Back and forth in the middle of the ring. Hardy ducks a shot and puts Edge on the top turnbuckle and into the Tree of Woe. Hardy tries to run and baseball slides into Edge, who lifts up to avoid the charge. Hardy hits Edge and drives both of his feet into Edge's midsection. Hardy with the cover, but only gets a 2 count. Hardy goes for the Twist of Fate. Edge reverses it into an Impaler DDT. He gets a close 2 count. Edge goes for a spear. Hardy sidesteps it. He rushes Edge, who hits Hardy with a back elbow. Edge goes to the second rope and jumps off. Hardy avoids Edge and goes up top and hits the Whisper in the Wind. He gets a close 2 count. Hardy hits a sit-out powerbomb on Edge and goes back up top to go for the Swanton, but Edge moves out of the way. Hardy jumps down. Edge kicks Hardy in the midsection, goes to spear Hardy, but Hardy jumps over Edge to avoid it, and Edge spills to the outside. Corderas counting Edge out. While he does that, MVP comes out of nowhere to attack Hardy and then disappears back out in the crowd again. Edge rolls back in the ring at the 9 count and spears Hardy and pins him. JR and Lawler then sign off from Saturday night's main event. Final thoughts. It is sad that this was the last Saturday night's main event. Although it wasn't anywhere near as revolutionary or popular as it was in its prime of the 1980s, it was still something that people could look forward to. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TheJoeyHarris. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. I would really appreciate it. You can support the show at paypal.me/cupofjoepod. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joey saying so long from the heart of Virginia.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.